What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network, and today we are on the topic of new Silver Tempest cards, and we'll be looking at a deck list for Lugia VSTAR Archeops that had a record of 9 wins and 0 losses to get first place at a recent Japanese City League event. Lugia V-Star will be coming out in Silver Tempest, but over in Japan, they're already playing with the cards from their half-set Paradigm trigger, so we can look at results and early deck lists from over there to kind of help us get into the groove with the new cards over here in North America. Before we get into the video, shout out to my sponsors, ProtonStore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, Beast Coast Pokemon, a collaborative YouTube channel of great Pokemon creators, CardTrooperGames.com. You can use code Celio for 5% off. PokemonCard.io for your deck list creating needs, and also Dragon Shield sleeves. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Now let's get into the video. So I have the translations up here from limitlesstcg.com, but let's take a quick look here at the deck list, and then we'll talk about the specific cards as well. I'm pretty excited for this archetype. It's pretty different than the decks that we have right now, and I think they've been doing a really good job of creating cards that will form together to make decks that are different. I've talked about this on Twitter a little bit, but we do have a pretty good variety of decks. We have completely single prize decks. We have VMAX decks. We have mixtures of 1, 2, and 3 prizers. You've even got a little bit of Mewtwo v Union Control that pops up every now and again. There's so much stuff going on with the variety and strategies of decks. I think it's really healthy. And I like where we're going with the card game right now. And the style, the flavor of Lugia plus Archeops definitely reminds me a little bit of like Tall Maxi style stuff, like getting Pokemon from the discard and whatnot. But then it's also got the energy acceleration and just some really powerful aggression. So this is the list that got 9-0 at the City League. If any of you follow Ethan Hegster on Twitter, it's the same City League. He went 8-0 at. I'm sorry, top 8 at, I believe, and then this deck got won the whole thing, going 9-0. And what I like about this list in particular is that it's very straightforward, and that it is just trying to be a good deck within itself. It's not really it doesn't look too worried about the metagame or anything. You know, it's got your Lugia, which is your main attacker, and it's also going to get those Archeops out. Archeops to accelerate energy. You got 2 other attackers, Radiant Zard and Amazing Rare Tall, nothing too crazy. And then just a lot of consistency for Quick Ball, for Ultra Ball, for Evo and Sense, 4 of the new Serena, which we'll take a look at, and then 5 additional draw supporters and a boss's orders, a whole ton of energy. 2 of each tool, so you get them when you need them, since you're not searching things out specifically. A couple support Pokemon like Guru, Crobat, and Luminion, and then a Pumpkaboo in case you need to bump something like a Path to the Peak. So why don't we start looking at what these cards do? Lugia V-Star, 280 HP, resistant to fighting, but weak to lightning, has the ability Assemble Star. You may use this ability during your turn. Put up to 2 colorless Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench. It's except a Pokemon with a rule box, so it has to be non-rule box Pokemon. 2 colorless Pokemon from discard to bench. Those targets are going to be Archeops. And then Lugia V-Star does 220 for 4 energy, and you may discard any stadium card in play. So that 220 you'll see in this picture of the deck list, they're playing all special energies, which include 4 powerful colorless energies. So those 4 powerful colorless energies, they each do 20 extra damage when attached to a colorless Pokemon. So if you have actually, let me make sure I'm correct on that. Is it 20 or 30? I want to make sure. Okay, it is 20. I was like 99% sure, and then I was like, wait a second. We better do this now, because I don't want to see the comments telling me I'm wrong. So 20 extra for each powerful colorless energy you attach. And it's going to be pretty easy to get the specific energies you want onto your Pokemon due to the Archeops, which we'll take a look at in just a second here. So if you have 2 powerful colorless energies on your Lugia V-Star. This attack will be doing 260, and then with a choice belt 290. That's going to be taking care of all the V-Stars in format, as long as they don't have big charms or anything like that on them. So now let's take a look at Archeops. This is going to be a very important part of the deck. It's a stage 2, but that's okay. We're just going to be tossing it into the discard pile and then getting it out of the discard pile with Lugia V-Star's Assemble Star. The ability on Archeops Primal Turbo: once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 special energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Now, note, Lugia gets 2 colorless Pokemon from discard to the bench, so that means you can get 2 Archeops and use 2 Primal Turbos a turn. This is actually incredibly strong, because you don't even have to worry about attaching energies with this deck. All you have to worry about is getting that Lugia into the active, because you're probably going to want to attack with it, right? So just getting the Lugia down in general first, and then having abilities active. So if there's a path, you'll have to bump it, and then get 2 Archeops into the discard pile with Serena, with Ultra Ball, with Quick Ball, with Professor's Research, whatever. And you assemble star them onto the board, and then they just can go and get 4 of whatever kind of energies you need and toss them onto your Lugia V-Star. So this is actually really, really strong as long as it works consistently, which it looks like it can. We'll have to see how a counter meta can form. We'll have to see if this is a best deck in format contender, or if it's just a really strong, consistent beatdown deck, but it's not the best. We'll have to see. Time will tell. We have very minimal results, so I wouldn't be getting too hype on it. I wouldn't be planning, this is the deck I'm gonna play at a regional 3 months from now. None of that might be optimal to do. We don't really know yet. I think Lugia Archeops is a functioning deck. It seems playable. It seems like it'll be tier 2 or higher. Let's continue looking at the cards, though. V-Guard Energy is a special energy that provides colorless, and when it's attached to a Pokemon, that Pokemon takes 30 less damage from Pokemon V, and you can only apply one of these at a time. This is really strong, not just for Lugia, but I think it'll also be strong for Arceus and Blissey. Taking 30 less is a big deal. So, like, Giratina is going to be doing 250 to you now, instead of 280, which is one of the main things I think about for this. Also, Palkia is not going to be able to reach one-hit knockouts nearly as easily without help from, like, Leon or quick shootings and things like that. So this V-Guard energy, I think, is going to be a big deal in Lugia V-Star and possibly a couple other decks. Minus 30 is a lot of damage reduction that is going to really mess up some numbers. And the last new card I wanted to look at is Serena. It's a supporter card. You can choose to either discard up to 3 cards from your hand and then draw cards until you have 5, or you can gust up a Pokemon V uh, of your opponent. So essentially, it's like a boss's orders only for Pokemon V, or you can draw cards, discard and draw cards. So it's a very good utility supporter because it has 2 uses that are night and day different. One is discard draw, and the other is an aggressive gust effect. So having 4 of this in your deck is going to give you that option. Whenever that's in your hand, you have a supporter that's essentially 2 supporters almost. Now, Serena is going to get very, very hard nerfed when we get to Scarlet and Violet in a few months next year, and we have new EX Pokemon, because Serena only gusts V Pokemon. So I think Serena is a crazy good card, but it will only be like that for a short time, in my prediction. So there you have it. That's the 9-0 Lugia deck list. Let me know what you guys think about it. I think this looks like a great place to start if you want to start building and testing Lugia V-Star. Subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.